The shift is back, baby. What is going on? Francisco Rojas, my guy Nick Kershaw, right beside me as we sit here on a beautiful spring night. It feels like spring. And it feels even more like baseball when we get the top prospect, one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball, one of the biggest, most exciting prospects in a while on the bump this Saturday. Paul Skenes has been pulled up, Nick, or pulled up. He's been called up, Nick. I'm excited. See, I can't even pronounce words. Nick, how you feeling, bro? You ready?
Listen, Paul Skenes got called up, man. How can I not be ready? I gotta. I'm gonna let mine grow.
No, we can't have that.
For the Skenes stash. How about that?
You want to do it?
I'm down.
Saturday.
I'm down.
I'll look like such a. Nah, I didn't want to say it. I don't even want to say it. I'm gonna look like a clown, dude. You can do it. You can do it. Go ahead.
I've never tried it. I've never done the mustache.
You should try.
I've done this. I've done the beard. Yeah, I've done the little chin thing for a while. Right. I've never done the stash fully grown.
I think you should try it. Do it for the shift.
All right, the Skenes stash for the shift. How about that?
The Skenes stash for the shift. Grow it out, baby. Let's
do it. I'm for it.
Yeah, honestly, all right, so we got a fun show for you today. We do have to talk about the Luis Arias trade. We never really got to talk about it. It's been a few weeks, but we're back. But we got to talk about the Luis Arias trade. The Philadelphia Phillies, obviously, most of you know who are listening probably know we're both Phillies fans. But we got to talk about, team that has the best record in Major League Baseball now. And could they potentially dethrone, the very, I think the Braves have won the NL East the past 5 years. We'll talk about that. Can they dethrone the Braves this year after the start that they've had? Pete Crow Armstrong, very interesting. He used his helmet to stay on the bag a couple of days ago. I want to talk about the legalities of that play. Should it be banned? Maybe even talk about the oven mitt. Should that be something that's banned as well? Talk about that. And then we got to talk about prospect of the week, stat of the week. Definitely curious to see who Nick comes up with this week, since we're obviously going to be talking about Paul Skenes today. But that's where we're going to start now. Nick, Paul Skenes, what are your thoughts? What were your thoughts when you initially heard that he was getting called up? And look, Saturday, Chicago Cubs, he's up. What are your thoughts?
Listen, that question is ridiculous. The fact you're even asking me, what were my thoughts when he was called up? What were my thoughts?
I don't know.
It's about damn time.
Every time you say that about a prospect, it does not bode well for them. Ellie last year, Jackson this year. This is not good. Hopefully, third time's a charm. Go ahead.
Hey. Listen. Jackson, just give him some time. He'll be back. Yeah. He'll be fine. And look at Ellie this year. What are his
numbers in the minors now? I wonder if it's gotten worse since he's gone back down there.
Just give him some time. Listen. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. He'll be fine. Ellie looks fine this year. It just took him a little while to get rolling again, right? Ellie looks good. But we're talking about Paul Skenes, man. Stashes for Skenes, man. That's what I'm going to be doing. Listen, I'm excited. This guy is nasty. Absolutely nasty. I mean, I could just go down the list. The fastball, it's ridiculous. Guys think he's throwing like 110 up there, it feels like they say. That's how ridiculous. So, like, if you go to MLB Pipeline, the highest grade you can give something is an 80. He has an 80 on his fastball. Mm-hmm. An 80. He should have a 90. That's how lethal his fastball is. I mean, it's ridiculous. Listen, it was the first overall pick last year. Number 3 prospect in the game. The guy's a unit, 6'6", 235 on the bump. 60 feet 6 inches away, seeing that mammoth, a big man, 6'6". Guys, ridiculous. National Player of the Year for LSU. Listen, he's got an 0.99 ERA down in AAA, 45 strikeouts, 27 in the third innings. Listen, he's got the fastball. We all know about that. His slider's pretty lethal as well. And then we got the splinker. Francisco, I don't know if you know about the splinker. If the listening audience doesn't know, it's a splitter and a sinker. It's a pitch that Skenes has said that happened by accident. It's got a mix
I
to
think
it.
Duran throws that. Johan Duran from
Yeah,
Minnesota. He throws that. It's nasty. Yeah.
it's ridiculous. So, he said it happened by accident, the splinker, the way he throws the ball. And it gets hitters out, man. It's pretty crazy to see what he could do. I mean, going back to the slider, he's got a whiff rate of 43%. I mean, this guy, he's got nasty, nasty stuff. And like to be in AAA at his age, early on in his career, already dominating at the level, like literally just complete and utter domination. AAA hitters are 8 for 52 against the fastball, 20, I believe 26 strikeouts, if I'm not mistaken, if I can read my own handwriting. It's the guy is legit. I'm excited to see him against big league hitters now. This is obviously this is the real test. You were fantastic against AAA hitters. Let's see against the big league hitters. His stuff is there. It's ready to go. Let's see him put it to the test, man. I mean, everyone's been waiting for this guy to get called up. It's like, all right. Let me look at my watch. It's time for him to pitch against the Cubs on Saturday, Francisco.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for, right? This is what we've been waiting for since he was the number 1 draft pick, overall last season. This is what every single, not just Pirate fan, but Major League Baseball fan has been waiting for, since even last year at LSU. I was watching some of his LSU highlights, man. And he was, I mean, it was really unbelievable what he did at LSU, what he's done in the minors. I guess the one thing I'm just really intrigued. I mean, simply put, I'm really intrigued to see how his stuff's going to play against major league hitting. In an actual game. He did pitch in spring training.
Yep.
But this is for real this time. This is for real. He's going up against the Cubs lineup that isn't too shabby. You got Bellinger there, you got Patrick Wisdom, you got Christopher Morel. Like you're gonna face big time hitting now. This isn't just gonna be the minors. And I was even listening to The Athletic, their Wind Up podcast earlier. And Katie Wu, the Athletics Cardinals writer, was talking about how AAA isn't what it used to be, isn't as good as it used to be. And that's where he's coming up from, right? AAA. That's where he's getting called up from.
Yeah, AAA. Yeah,
right. But he even started. Did he start AAA or no?
This year, yeah, I believe he started AAA. Yes.
Okay, I just want to double check. Either way, he's coming. Yeah, he's coming for AAA. Yep, every start was a AAA. So I'm really interested to see how his stuff's going to translate because, and the guy is also he's pretty mature for his age, because I was reading something earlier and he was talking about how he realizes that he can't just have the fastball. I think you mentioned this with his arsenal, the fastball and the slider. He's throwing the splinker too now. I think the
curveball, the changeup.
Yeah, exactly.
He's throwing those pitches too.
Pitches,
yeah,
5 different pitches. So we're kind of on the same wavelength here. I'm really just curious to see how that stuff's gonna play. I mean, that fastball is something to behold, dude. Something to behold. So I'm really interested to see just how his stuff is going to play at the major league level. And, people are talking about, the type of excitement that we're getting from him. And I know we kind of talked about this with Jackson Holiday when he was called up, but I'm getting, Strasburg vibes and who else? Who else were some big time pitchers to come up? Even Mark Pryor, Kerry Wood back in the day. I know it's a little bit before your time. Just to say, but guys like that where we're all stoked to watch. Even I know Kopech hasn't necessarily panned out like that so far, because of injuries and whatnot. But there was some hype for Kopech when he was called up to the White Sox a couple of years ago. So that those are the type of vibes I'm getting from it, and I love that as a baseball fan. I love that. I love the excitement, the hype around this type of pitcher, because I'm a pitching nerd when it comes to this stuff. I love hitting too, but I'm really, pitching nerd at heart. So I mean, I can't wait to see Skenes 100 2 mile per hour fastball to go along with that splinker. Really watch, I mentioned Johan Duran before. I'm really intrigued to watch Skenes go out there and see how that stuff plays, man, because it's going to be a different animal. But I think he's got the type of moxie to come up and have a pretty, at least at the very least, solid start. I can't see him, going out there and just getting absolutely murdered in his
No.
first start. I don't get those vibes. I don't get the Jackson Holiday, strikeout, getting destroyed the first, 30 at bats. I know you're just dying inside right now listening to that, but it's just the truth. It's just the truth. So I don't see Paul Skenes being that type of player. He doesn't have. He's got the Lion's heart, bro. You don't got the Jackson Holiday. Who is the soft person from Wizards of Waverly Place? Not Wizard of Oz. Who was the Tin Man? Was he
Tin
soft?
Man? Yeah, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I don't know. Was it
Jackson
Tin Man?
Holiday, Tin Man, Paul Skenes, the Lion. You know what I'm saying? So that's the type of comparison you get on the ship, baby. That's the type of comparison you get. And Paul Skenes, Lion, Tin Man, Jackson Holiday. So I remember what Paul Skenes did to Jackson Holiday. You remember that, Nick?
Yeah, I remember in spring
I
training.
know.
I remember.
Cry about it. You want to cry on air?
I struck out. I'm not gonna cry about it. Listen, I'm a Paul Skenes fan.
Yeah, sure you are.
Don't maybe pit my guy Jackson against Paul. I can't do it.
You're an Orioles fan. You're a Reds fan, and you're a Phillies fan. You're a fraud. I get it. So I'm going a little long here. But at the end of the day, after all that spiel there, I'm sorry. I'm stoked for Paul Skenes. It is a home start, I believe, which makes it even more exciting. Yeah. Hopefully, Pittsburgh, their fans pack the house. I want to see it. I want to see them pack the house just like they packed the house way back in the mid-2010s when Kutch was helping them get into the playoffs and stuff like that. I want to see that type of packed house for Paul Skenes' debut, Nick.
Listen,
go ahead.
The Pirates have a lot of good young players, but do they have like the amount of noise that's around Paul Skenes, right? I don't know if it's like kind of McCutchen-esque. I'm not going to say it's McCutchen, but like it's McCutchen-esque, the noise around Paul Skenes. Like everyone's been waiting. I hope the Pittsburgh faithful on Saturday shows out. I believe it's the second game of a 3-game set against the Chicago Cubs. So listen, it's a division game. They're starting them against. So it's going to be fun. I'm excited to see him throw, man. I mean, I think you kind of summed it up perfectly. Like we want to see him against big league competition at this point, right? I want to see him against big league bats. Hey, division game against the Cubs, perfect way to start. Let's see what he's got. The guy throws a ridiculous fastball. He's got the splinter, the sliders nasty. He's mixing in the other pitches. But it's just like now you got to see it against these big league hitters. Yeah, you can do it at AAA. You have the 0.99 ERA. Fantastic, right? It's great. Cool. But what are you going to do against these big league hitters? It's a different game, man. Like the minors, AAA is close, but it's not the same when you get to the big leagues. And we got Jovan Alford checking in. Most exciting Pirates pitches is Garrett Cole.
That's what I was trying to think of somebody.
Yeah.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, this is gonna be fantastic. So Skenes is gonna pitch on Saturday. We're gonna finally get to see it in a major league uniform. You getting the Skenes jersey? You're gonna wear that one since you get every other.
You know what? I don't.
Guys, a unit.
Yeah, I don't look. To be fair, I'm just gonna be real with you. I'll be real with the audience. I only buy, and this is the truth. I only buy jerseys for people that are solidified, right? Like I have the Randy Johnson. You can say whatever you want to say. I have the Randy Johnson. I have a Pedro Martinez 99 All-Star Game Red Sox. You know what I'm saying? I got it. We can look at football. I got a Falcons Michael Vick. I get solidified guys, right? I got a Jerome Brown. Rest in peace. But those are the type of jerseys I buy. I do have a Trout Angels, but Trout's solidified forever. Yeah. So and I have a Bryce Phillies jersey, but Bryce is Bryce. But I will. If anything, I will get a Skenes jersey. You know what I mean?
All right,
I'll get a jersey.
That's fair.
Because I can't spend $150 for the guy to. What if he comes up and he's terrible, or if he gets hurt, for God forbid, and he can't stay healthy or anything like that? Not trying to knock on wood. But that's just my method to my madness. I know I am madness, but there's a method to it. You know what I'm saying? Semi, right, exactly. Also, shout out to Jovan for commenting a few minutes ago. Paul Skenes, Jared Jones. By the way, Mitch Keller, too. This is potentially going to be their monster top 3, for years to come. Skenes, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller got that extension, I believe. So they're the Pirates are really excited about those three. Keep Brian Hayes there on offense. So they believe, unlike the Marlins, they don't believe in their young guys. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about them in just a short moment. But before we get to that, also we've been trying to do Twitter polls for our show. Our latest Twitter poll for today's show. I don't know how Nick feels about this. I feel like he's very skeptical about this, as he should. By the end of 2024, who will have lasted the longest, or how will lasted longer in the big leagues in their first year in the majors? A, Paul Skenes, or B, Jackson Holliday, who is back in the minors. Who will have it's kind of weird because we're comparing a pitcher to a hitter, so it's technically you can't. I don't know how many games it starts. I don't know, but I think you probably get the gist. Who will have lasted longer? Who will have a longer stretch? Nick, I don't know. Do we want to give our answers? We're going to let the audience.
I mean, I'll give my answer.
Yeah, go ahead. I want to hear yours.
I'll give my answer. I'm going to go Skenes. I think obviously it's a little different because it's a pitcher. But Jackson's struggling right now. And I think you don't want to rush the kid, leave him down in AAA. He's struggling AAA right now too. So you gotta just wait it out with Jackson Holliday. So that's where I'm at with him. Paul Skenes, I think, lasts longer. I think the stuff's extremely dominant. I think that's where you're going to see a longer stretch of him, throughout the rest of the season, right? So I think Skenes, he gets a bunch of starts throughout the year. They're not going to kill his arm, but I think he lasts longer. I think he'll last a majority of the season and maybe probably till the end of the year. So I wouldn't be shocked if Skenes is here for the rest of the season.
Okay, all right. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Nick, I'll just be straight up with you. I had a turkey burger. I had rice and chicken for dinner. Okay. That's what I had. Okay. I had a little bit of coffee ice cream afterwards. So that was my dinner. What about you?
There you go. I had tails tonight, chicken tails.
Excuse me?
I had them. They were pretty good. You never had tails?
Tails? Look that up.
Yes.
Chicken tails?
Oh,
I don't.
gosh.
What is a chicken
It's
tail?
Chicken. They're giant. They're like giant chicken tenders, essentially. Like a boneless wing that's gigantic. A giant tender, basically.
This is what I see when I look up chicken tail. You know what I'm saying?
That's not it. That's not it.
Chicken tail, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
Tails. They're called tails. So that's what I had. It's chicken.
Did you invent?
I had chicken. No. This is well known. That's what I had. I had that with fries, and then I had some mint chocolate chip ice cream. How about that?
Mint chocolate chip ice cream is good. Oh, like this. Hold on, like this.
Nah, not really. No. I'll send you a picture.
Okay. All right. And then you can post it on Twitter.
Yeah, I will.
All right. But so first topic here for the meat and potatoes, man. Like, I don't think anyone saw this coming. I think I texted this to you, and I believe at first, like, I was thinking, like, is there something I'm missing? Did I not read something that maybe that this has been like kind of brewing and that we were all going to see this coming? Then I realized, like, no, the Marlins just don't think that they can win this year, which is whatever. But I mean, it's pretty early in the season. Luis Arias, Nick, traded to the San Diego Padres. I believe it was for 3 prospects. I could be wrong, could be 4, but I'm pretty sure it was 3, right? 3?
Yes.
All right, three prospects.
No, it was 4. It was 4.
It was 4.
Well, yeah, 3 prospects, and then it's 4 players, 3 prospects, 1 right-handed pitcher.
Okay. I mean, I'll just go first here, Nick. I just kind of want to talk about general thoughts, takeaways from the trade. I mean, it's kind of like the obvious one, but let's just get it out of the way. I'll get it out of the way for us. Like, what are the Marlins doing? Like, even if they might have been correct in that they weren't going to compete this year, but you still could have had Arias, Jazz Chisholm, Alcantara, Yuri Perez. You have your nucleus, your core there for the future. It's not like Luis Arias is 34, 35 years old. He's 27. You got years of his prime there, right? I mean, usually a player's prime is usually ended by like 33, 34 years old. you got him there, man. You got him there. He's had back-to-back batting titles for both leagues. It doesn't really like, okay, in one aspect, you can say like, well, the Marlins prospects, their farm system, according to Fangraphs, is like bottom 5, and the Padres have a like 11th ranked farm system. According, maybe this is different now after the trade, but this is the general, at least from what I've read. There is that side to it, but at the end of the day, you got a solidified, hitting machine there. The modern day Tony Gwynn. It didn't really make sense to me, Nick. Luis Arias is a very good player. It doesn't make sense to me. That's my first takeaway. What are the Marlins doing? You can go. I'll talk about how I see this from the Padres' point of view after you're done. But like, I don't see what sense this make for the Marlins. It's just another. They're just going They're going to probably ship off Alcantara, ship off Yuri Perez. It's just going to be like the Marlins back in the day. No more Yelich, no more Stanton, no more third player I couldn't think of. But you get the picture. It doesn't
Marcelo Zuna, another player. Doesn't
exactly.
matter. Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I don't get it. I mean, this is Arise is what, third team since 2022. I mean, what the heck?
Right.
This guy's a hitting machine. I don't know. Listen, the Marlins are as confusing as ever. I mean, listen, they went through the whole era of Derek Jeter at the helm, right? Yeah. That was a nightmare. They get to the playoffs last year, had a pretty good roster. They have some good young players. They get a rise. They go out and get him, and then they move him already. They're already moving him. Listen, I know they don't have a great farm system, and they wanted to add some pieces to the pipeline. Like they get Dylan Head, who's number 6 on the Padres top 30. Now he's number 5 on the Marlins. Like, they got 3 guys that they add into their top 30 prospect. I think all of them, if I'm not mistaken, are top 11 or higher. So I mean, yeah, great, but they're unproven. I thought you were a team that was trying to be in the mix. I guess they don't see a path with the Braves and Phillies already being so dominant at the top. I don't know. I just, the plan for the Marlins has always been confusing to me. They get all these young players, they come up, and then they trade them right away. They get a guy like Arise, they trade him right away. Like, it just doesn't make any sense if you're the Miami Marlins at this point. Arise is one of the best hitters in baseball. To move on from him this quickly, this guy's been on 3 teams in just a couple of years now. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. Good for the Padres getting a back over there, which is huge for them after losing Juan Soto in the offseason. They get a freaking awesome bat in Arise here. Yeah, great. I mean, they can afford to lose some prospects, especially what they gained from Juan Soto trade, et cetera, et cetera. They have young pieces. The Padres are trying to stay in contention too. It's a good move for the Padres, I think, in getting a guy like that and giving up a couple of good prospects. But, you never know what you're going to get out of those guys, right? So it's worth it for the Padres to do it, especially since they have one of the better farm systems in baseball. So, this was puzzling. And then the timing of it was weird too, Fran.
Yeah, it's a blockbuster in May.
Yeah, what do we like? We're not waiting until July, trade deadline in August. You're doing it now.
Yeah,
like, it's April. It's been 1 month. They're already out 1 month into the season. So, wow, wave the white flag already, Miami. Good job by you guys. I feel sorry, especially since they're having the fans bring things in. You can have more fun in the stands, trying to build a culture there. Boom, you're trading one of your best players. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, nothing. Miami fans besides Chisholm, what do they really have to go to the ballpark right now? Maybe I'm missing something here, but it was Arise, it was Jazz Chisholm. At least you guys got those guys in your lineup every day. But now, who else is there? I don't really know. Just being honest, man. Tim Anderson's there, but Tim Anderson hasn't been good at all. I'm a Tim Anderson guy, but not good at all. It just doesn't really make any sense, man. From the Padres' point of view, I think it's a decent trade for them. I still think, if I'm a Padres fan, I still want them to develop, try to develop a future. But credit to AJ Preller for getting one of the top bats in the game. I think they're a team that's still trying to win now. I know that a lot of people think about the Dodgers, think about the Braves, think about the Phillies now. And the Padres have kind of been like I don't know if laughing stock's the word, but like Padres have just been like whatever you guys do, you could just never do it. Whoever you get, whether it's Bogarts, whether it's Soto, whoever Machado, whoever it is, it just hasn't worked for them. They did get to an LCS a couple years ago, give them that. But it just last year you get all the big names, it just doesn't work. But give them credit, they're gonna try this year still. They were going to anyway. But it's still a very big time lineup. You had to rise to the mix now, and they're gonna they're trying to go for it. The old seasons had a good start to the year for them, and the staff. So yeah, it's you get a blockbuster out of nowhere. Never really see these in May, on May whatever it was, May 5th, May 4th, whatever it was. Never see it too often, Nick, but Padres are still going to try to win, man. They're still going to try to win. Can they do it? Probably not. The Dodgers, the D-backs are there. Probably not, but good content. The modern day Tony Gwynn is a Padre. Pretty ironic. So that's what most people are calling him. So yeah, it's a good thing from the Padres side. That's all I got on Nick. Anything else to add about the trade?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Padres are sticking right around 500 to start the season this year. They add another bat. I think Tatis even called a rise to the new Tony.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was Tatis said it too, which is pretty funny. But yeah, I listen, good move from the Padres perspective. You give up a couple of prospects, okay, you can live with that. They're in the top 10 in the Marlins system now. Fine. The Padres have guys they can unload, and they're trying to go for it, right? They're trying to win now. I know they moved on from Juan Soto in the offseason, but they had to dump some money. I get it, but you go out and get a guy like Arise. Yeah, why not? Why not? If this becomes available, you can give him up for a couple of prospects. Go ahead, do it. And Preller's going to do it. He's going to swing big. And here we go. Here we are. So we'll see. We'll see how big of a move this is as we get into the dog days and down the stretch in September.
Facts. By the way, you're not hot in that hoodie? It's hot as hell, man.
We got the air kicking in here. It's fantastic. So I'm comfy. I am in a comfy mode right now, friend.
Yeah, I think you're just soft. You're just soft. You're soft like the Tin Man. You're just soft just like Jackson Holiday.
I'm not soft. I'm not going to stand up. I'll tell you that right now. I'm not standing up. I got the hoodie on, and I'm not standing up.
Okay. All right.
If you know what I mean.
I sure, I guess. I don't know. You're like Gen Z or whatever. So I don't know if we're on the same. We're on the same wavelength sometimes, but sometimes it just you're.
It just goes. It goes over your head. It goes over you. My lingo goes over your head.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Philadelphia Phillies now, Nick, have the best record in baseball. They finally lost a game today to the Toronto Blue Jays. One thing people were, especially here in Philadelphia, were talking about a lot, but it felt like nationally there was being talked about too. Is this a year that the Phillies could potentially dethrone the Atlanta Braves, for that division? By the end of 2024. And right now, Nick, look, Phils are hot. Phils have won what, like 18 or the last 22, somewhere around that. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Like they're hot. They're the best record in baseball still, as far as I know. They've been great. They've been really good, all facets, rotation, lineup. Yes, they have. Unfortunately, Trey Turner is not going to be here for about 5+ more weeks. He's hurt with the hamstring thing, but still, that lineup stacked, which proves how good they are. Now, Nick, the Braves do not have Spencer Strider for the rest of the year. No more Spencer Strider. Still have a stacked lineup. Ronald Acuna, I think, will come around at some point. I think. And maybe that offense will finally really get hot. But no Strider. Offense is still great. Bullpen's really good. Are the Phillies now, the start they've had, and they've moved past the Braves for first place, are they clearly the favorite to win the NL East? Could they now run away? I wouldn't say run away, But are they in your minds? No doubt about it. Phillies are going to win the NL East. How do you feel about them?
No, no. I can't slam dunk, no doubt about it. Oh, the Phillies are going to win the division. It's May. The Braves are a good team, man. I'm not. They've been the division winner over the past few years for a reason, right? Like this is the Phillies are trying to get over that hump to win the division this time around instead of having the wild card spot. Which honestly, who knows? According to the Braves, they don't like having the time off before the divisional round, which is pretty funny. But no, I'm not going to make them a slam dunk. The Braves are a very good team. They're only 2.5 games out. They haven't played as many games as the Phillies either. So, no, I listen. The Braves over the past 2 series, listen, they went 1-2 against Seattle, got swept by the Dodgers, have only scored 14 runs in their past 6 games. Okay, in those 2 series. All right, fine. It's May. You're going to go through the ebbs and flows of a season. It's a long year. I think it's going to be a battle to the end. I think the Phillies it'll definitely be way closer than it has been over the past few seasons. Like by the time like July, August comes around, it's like, all right, who's battling for second place in the NL East? I don't think that's the case this year. I'm not going to hand the Phillies a division yet. I can't do that in May. No way. Not with the Braves. I get Spencer Strider's out. I get it. They have a fantastic roster. They have a lot of depth. And when this lineup gets going, they're like all virtually unbeatable, especially in the regular season. In the regular season, playoffs, that's a different story. But the regular season, ridiculous. Acuna's going to come around. You're talking about the reigning MVP here. They're going to come around at some point, unless injuries really get to them and the injury bug hits the lineup hard. This is going to be a competitive race till the end, I think. I think it's going to be really close the way things are shaking out this year. I think the Phillies have elevated themselves. I think the Braves are still really, really good. I can't give it to one or the other right now. I think it's going to be a battle till the end. But the Phillies, I say right now, slight favorites for sure. For sure would be my slight favorite in the least right now. The way they're playing, especially with guys going out like Trey Turner missing some time. Yeah, I'd say they're a slight favorite. I can't slam dunk it, though. I can't say, yeah, Phillies are going to win no matter what. Strider's out. Who cares? No. It's going to be close. Relax. It's early. I love the start the Phillies have had. It's one of their best in a very long time. I'm going to give a slight edge to them, but it's going to be a wire-to-wire finish in the NL East if teams stay healthy.
Yeah, I guess you're just not a Phillies fan anymore. You're more of an Orioles. You're a Reds fan. I get it. That's fine.
No, I'm realistic. I'm realistic.
Nah, you're not realistic.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Ellie, come up. You're going to be so good. Oh, Jackson, come up. You're going to be so good. Now you're going to ruin the career of Paul Skenes. I can't believe it. Cannot believe it.
I will say, on the radio show I do on Saturdays, we have a guy who does some stuff at MLB Network, the sportsbook consigliere.
Right.
He basically, he said I wasn't a mush, but he was calling me a mush.
So maybe as far as what goes?
Anything. He's talking about game 6. I go to game 6s. They lose. Sixers go to game 6s. Yeah. I went to Phillies game 7. They lost. I go on the Jackson Holiday train. He gets sent back down. Ellie De La Cruz falls apart last year. I mean, I'm not on a good streak here, Fran.
Yeah, you gotta stop. I don't know what you got to do. You got to do something else, man.
Like, I haven't gone to a game. Sporting events. I haven't gone to a Phillies game where they've won this year.
Well, you should you know what you should do? You should attend you should go to a Mets game when they're playing like the Mets versus the White Sox or something. So the White Sox can sweep the Mets and you can be there and be like, get the Mets to. I don't even know how that would actually work because maybe you would help the Mets somehow. I don't know. Maybe the White Mets would start winning more.
Maybe I'm doing the Phillies a favor here. Okay, so this might be a good thing. What? By saying, I'm not gonna give it to him yet. All right.
Oh, okay. And then they run away with it. Reverse psychology. Yeah, but you're wrong. The Phillies should be the clear favorites. And here's why, Nick. I think it comes down to one thing. I will give the edge to the Braves offense, especially with Trey out for 5 weeks. And that's a theme here with the injuries. What it comes down to for me, Nick, I think the Phillies starting pitching is miles ahead of the Braves now. Without Strider, I think they are miles ahead starting pitching. Bullpen, you could it's a pick 'em as far as the bullpens go. Braves have a really good bullpen. Phillies have a really good bullpen. I think the Phillies starting pitching, and I know they've been really good to start the year. But I really don't think it's a fluke that Rangers is this good. I think Rangers going to be like a top 5 to top 10 Cy Young candidate. I think Nola is going to have a really good year. I think I feel about with Nola, with Zach Wheeler. I think Zach Wheeler, I think he's going to Cy Young this year, man. So him a Ranger. It's going to be him a Ranger. Yeah. Christopher Sanchez rebounded nicely the other day. Taijuan Walker. I mean, Taijuan Walker actually hasn't been bad to start the year. I mean, yeah, he kind of had a couple of homers he's given up at the end of starts. But besides that, he's honestly been pretty good coming back from injury. And then you got Turnbull there. If you need somebody to go in there, that's some depth, and he kind of helps the bullpen out. Reynaldo Lopez, dude. What am I supposed to say about? I know he's been at an incredible start. I don't know much about this guy. Like, I know he's been in the big leagues a long time, pitched for the White Sox way back in the day. Hasn't been good. How much am I going to trust this guy? Charlie Morton's only getting older. I mean, yeah, Morton's been pretty good this year, and maybe he'll have a good year, but I don't know. He's getting older. Chris Sale can't stay healthy, baby. We've talked about the Braves rotation, man. I love the Phillies rotation. And I really feel like it puts them over the top for the Braves this year. Man, I'm not saying for years to come. I'm just saying for this year, because Strider will come back eventually. And Strider is going to be, continue to be one of the best, he's starting the trend, obviously, with him and Skenes, the mustache and everything. I just like the Phillies rotation a lot, man. That's really the thing for me is the rotation. And that's just how I feel, man. I really feel like their starting 5 is just too good, and it's going to get them the division this year. Cannot wait to win the division. Can't wait to go to the World Series. I-95 World Series, Phillies, Orioles. We'll be there every game.
Yep, you'll wear your Diamondbacks jersey to game 1, game 2, game 3.
Right. No, I'll get a Cal Ripken jersey. I'll wear that.
Listen, I said I gave the Phillies a slight edge right now. For sure, they're the favorite. There's a slight favor for me. I can't count the Braves offense out. I can't do it for the division. We're not talking in a playoff series. Playoff series, I give the edge to the Phillies 100 games over because of the rotation. 100 times over. You got Wheeler, Nola, Ranger. Top 3 destroys the Braves. But during the regular season, they still have a really good roster. And I would not count the Braves out of making a move at the deadline. You can't count them out with that. That could come, and they could add some pitching, add some depth at the deadline. So I'm not gonna rule that out. They have guys in their farm they can move if they need to. Not gonna count them out. So I do think Philly should be the slight favorite to win the division right now, but to just count out the Braves like they're the White Sox or the Marlins. I can't do it. I can't. It's what you're saying. That's the way you're talking. But yes, no, I give them the slight edge, but I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think it's going to be closer than you think. The Braves are still a really good team. I know they're missing Strider. It's a gigantic loss, not counting them out fully.
Yeah, I think the deadline's interesting. I think you make a good point there, but I like the Phils a lot right now. Maybe I'm biased, but I just know.
I do too. Yeah. They're playing well. They're pitching well. They're playing well. Even with losing a guy like Turner, who was one of the only bats that got hot to start the season. So I'm with you, but just it's May. It's May. It's May 8th.
Okay. Sorry, that was rude. I should have done that. All right. This Pete Crow Armstrong. Cubs young guy. This is very interesting. So he kind of like overslid second base. I believe this was against New York. He overslid second base, but he was able to keep on the base by putting his helmet, like kind of like he took off his helmet like right before he slid into second base, and he kind of used his helmet to stay on second base, and he was called safe. I think afterwards, MLB came out and said, well, by legal rule, he should have been out. What do you think, though? There's some very interesting comments that I've seen on social media. What do you think about the play, Nick? Do you think it should be legal, or do you think it's like a fun play? You like it? Like, what are your thoughts?
I'm a big fun guy, but no, this is not legal. Are you kidding me? He should be out. What are you doing here? I'm gonna pull up a picture in 1 second of this because I want to show the peeps. We don't have broadcast rights, so I want to show the peeps at least a picture of this.
Oh, we can't show the video.
Something up. No, let me see here. Open image. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. I'm working my magic over here on the
That's
fly.
okay. Yeah, you always get the magic. But it was really interesting play. Actually, yeah, it
Here we
was
go. I got it. We got it.
There you go. I actually like the way you did that. Actually, that's a good. It's kind of funny. That's kind of a funny.
That's ridiculous. That is. Look at that.
You can't do that. Did they call? Wait. I forget. Did they call him safe? I think they did.
Yeah, they called him safe, right? I believe they called him safe.
Actually, the more and more I think about it, now that I'm looking at the picture,
look
it's
how
kind
dumb.
of wild that the ump was just like, "Yeah, you're safe." Like, I wonder if the ump in the moment. I'm curious what they must have talked about it after the game or something, or that
they said. Yeah, the Major League Baseball said they got the call wrong. It's wrong. And
yeah,
because
I want to hear what the ump said. I want to hear what he said. Like. Because like now that I'm looking at it, it's like you actually look wild to be like, oh yeah, that's definitely a legal play. I guess you're just not used to seeing that every day if you're an ump. So maybe he was just kind of taken by surprise and he was like, oh wait, what's this rule? Okay, well he's actually technically still on the base, so I'll call him safe. So actually, I won't heckle the ump too much, but it kind of looks it looks ridiculous at the same time. Just looking at it on camera here, it's really funny.
It's so funny. Even the broadcast team. I mean, like this is something you don't see every day. Like every year, there's something new we've never seen before. When was the last time we saw this? Someone try this and pull this out of their hat.
I've never.
Exactly. So I don't fault the umpires or the broadcast team or anyone involved to not know. Like, oh, we have the mitts now. We got the mittens that we can use to slide it on. Might as well use my helmet too. I mean, yeah. No, it's illegal. I don't like if it was now if it's on his head and like he's touching his head. Maybe we should try his head with his like touch the base with his head. We try that. That's safe to me because now it's a part of his body. It's correctly on like a hat, right? That's fine. But you can't take it off and use it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. The more, like I said, the more I look at that picture, the more.
Like, what if he took off his cleat? What if he took off his cleat and put it on the base? That doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? This is Bush League.
Yeah, that is Bush League. Well, this actually begs the question before we get to the closeout segment. How do you feel about the oven mitt? The oven mitt's like technically. Yeah. It's technically, I'm trying to think of how large it is, but I mean, it's longer than like your fingers. So like, should the oven mitt be illegal? Even though should they make changes to it? Because it's technically supposed to, they've used it for protection. What do you think about that?
No, I get it. I mean, it's a little bit longer. Like, I mean, it has to be. The whole point so you don't break your fingers sliding into the base.
Right.
That's the whole point. I don't mind it. It looks goofy as heck. Everyone knows how goofy it looks. Yeah. But I don't. This is different. This is a different scenario. This guy, he took the helmet comes off and he's using it as an extension. The oven mitt is on your hand. Obviously, it's a little bit longer than your fingers, but it's on your hand. It's equipment. You're not like taking it off and then using it as an extra device.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, no. The oven mitts are fine, as goofy as they are. The oven mitts, I'm in on. Taking the helmet off and using it, that's ridiculous. You should be out at that point. You're not touching the base.
Shout out to Pete Armstrong for pulling this off, though. Shout out to him. It's actually really funny.
I know. It's
Pete Armstrong.
It's great that it worked. Like, it legitimately worked. Yeah. Nobody knew what to do.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're safe, buddy. It's like, yeah, I guess I am. Hell yeah. And awesome. I think John Boy and Jake did like a video about it, and like they mentioned how like he definitely maybe necessarily didn't do it on purpose, but you could tell that he hasn't. That's not the first time he's ever done that.
No, like it's like I probably tried this in the minors before.
Right,
It worked down in single A. Let me try it
or in like practice or something, right?
Yeah. Spring training game.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So I tried this before. It worked.
Yeah. All right. Let's close it out, baby. I'm gonna give you a stat of the week. You know, cool. How the stat of the week goes. Give me your prospect of the week, though. We obviously we talked about Paul Skenes ad nauseum so far. Give me your prospect of the week.
All right. So obviously Paul Skenes, the man, going to start Saturday, but I'm going to switch it from a pitcher to a catcher. I'm going Harry Ford.
Ooh. Well, baseball classic star.
Yeah, prospect from the Seattle Mariners. You know, he's had listen, the past I'm going past the past couple of weeks, he's been pretty hot, right? He had a 12-game hit streak. He's hitting the 13 out of his last 14 games. But what's great about Harry Ford when he eventually comes up, I think he's like 34th ranked prospect, somewhere around there. He's like 30 something in all of baseball, according to MLB Pipeline. The thing about him is he gets on base, and he's been walking a lot more recently. Like last year, he walked a ton, and that's why I love him. He's a guy who gets on base and is going to be a pretty decent hitter as well. This season, he's had 6 multi-walk games, so whether 2 or more, he's done it 6 times this year already. We're only in May. April 28th, that game, he walked 3 times in that game. So he's got a really nice approach at the plate. He's one of the top catching prospects in baseball. I think he is the top catching prospect in baseball, if I'm not mistaken. And the Mariners, they got a guy coming up who's going to be fantastic. He's in Double-A right now. He's had comps to Russell Martin, as well as Biggio as well. They're kind of the comps he's gotten. So this is a guy I'm looking forward to. Harry Ford. Watch that name going forward. Love the discipline at the plate. He's got like a major league mindset. He's a student of the game. Watch Harry Ford as he comes up through the ranks, through the minor leagues. Seattle's got a good one. If they don't trade him, if they keep him, they got a good catcher. That might be there for a long time.
Okay, by the way, 4th ranked catcher in baseball.
Okay,
according to MLB.com. But, you know, nonetheless, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's Ethan Salas, Samuel Basallo.
Gotcha. Yep.
Jefferson, I'm sure you know Samuel Basallo very well because you're a diehard Orioles fan. Jefferson Curo, Harry Ford, and Kyle Teal from the Red Sox.
I know Teal. Teal's going to be nice too.
Okay. I love it. We always love to get your insight on the prospect. So yeah, Harry Ford, name I've heard before just from the World Baseball Classic.
Yep.
Yeah, excited to see what he's gonna do. So my stat of the week. I mean, it just happened today, Nick. We got to talk about. I mean, Giancarlo Stanton, when he hits home runs, they're not just like he owns the StatCast era of home runs. He owns remember when he hit that bomb in LA? It was like McGuire. Now it's Stanton hitting bombs out of Dodger Stadium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Giancarlo Stanton hit one today. I believe, I don't want to get it wrong. I believe it was 119 miles per hour. I'm going to get it real quick because I don't want to get it wrong. There we go. 119.9 mile per hour blast that went up to the second deck. I mean, it literally got out in like 2 seconds. Like that's what Giancarlo Stanton does. That's the type of blast he hits. They're like line drive, but they're like missile shots. Like that's what they are. So Giancarlo Stanton, 119.9 mile per hour home run today. Hardest hit ball of the season, all of Major League Baseball so far. And by the way, it now slides right in for Stanton in the top 15 hardest hit home runs of the StatCast era. He owns 8 of those. He owns 8 of the top 15. It's like he has 8. You know, Tani has a couple. Acuna's somewhere in there. Judge has a couple. The names that you usually know. So, but Stanton, Nick, is just, I don't know, man. He's when he's healthy, he's hitting these type of home runs. Exciting to watch. He hits he's a StatCast, home run darling. Really
it's like if he's able to stay on the field, stay in the lineup. This is what you get. You get a nice product. You get an entertaining player who can hit missiles, Francisco. So it's about him staying healthy. It's May. Hopefully he can last longer this year. Keep it going because it's entertaining. As much as I don't want to, give a Yankee props, I'll give the Yankee a prop. I'll give a Yankee a prop here. So, I mean, the guy is entertaining when he mashes home runs. It's awesome. The guy just is gigantic. He's a unit and can mash and hits absolute missiles out of the ballpark in Yankee Stadium. Woo! My goodness.
And his teammate Juan Soto, by the way, leads the majors in exit velocity this year at just almost 96 mile per hour.
Yeah, man.
Judge is there in third. And Stanton, I think, he's somewhere down here. He's 26th, but still 26th. Your boy Ellie comes in at 16th.
Oh.
My boy O'Neill comes in at 20th.
He's always one step ahead.
Yes.
Always
yes.
one
How about
step
this?
ahead.
Patrick Bailey in the 12th. That's just
Wow.
98. Patrick Bailey. Cal Raleigh's there at 7th. Okay. Bobby Witt Jr. at 6th.
That sounds about right.
Gunnar Henderson, by the way, I believe it is major league tying 11th home run tonight, which kind of deked Eddie Rosario out there in right field. But anyway, so that's pretty much it for today's show. Go make sure that you follow us on Twitter, especially our Twitter poll that we threw out there today. Paul Skenes, Jackson Holiday, by the end of 2024, who will have lasted the longer in the bigs this year, and coming in at 80%. It's Paul Skenes.
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah, buddy. not too sure. I agree with them.
I
did agree with them.
I respect that. You as an Orioles fan conceding.
No Orioles fan here. No Orioles fan.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, if we're going to the World Series and you're wearing like a Gunner jersey, Phillies Orioles World Series, serious consequences. Serious consequences.
I don't make the mistakes you make. I learn.
Oh boy.
From my elder folk, from the elder folk like you.
Yeah, I ain't that old. I am going to be 30 this year.
You are. Big 3-0.
Yeah, screw that. I hate saying that. I hate.
Here come the back problems, buddy.
I already have back problems. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway, that's going to do it for the show. Follow us everywhere. Follow him at Nernshaw Radio. You'll just have to go look for my Twitter somewhere because I don't have mine attached to my name. So that's going to do it for another episode of The Shift. We'll be back next week. See you guys.